the most realistic online racing sim ever made. This is iRacing. Detailed laser scan tracks, fully dynamic real world cars, and over 50 series to choose from. 6 online world championships offering over $100,000 in annual prizes. This is the original esport racing game. This is iRacing.
Well, hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the Turn 3 Racing Network. As tonight, we're here with the OP Racing Premier Series presented by Butt Kickers. Thank you very much for joining me. My name is KR Stolfus, and we have a very special presentation to kick off our Season 12 race here at Daytona. And in the booth with me is none other than the head honcho, the El Jefe himself. That is Alex Green. How you doing, Alex?
Good, KR. Thank you for having me.
Well, man, we have you up here not only to just listen to your beautiful voice and tell us all about how great the race is going to be here tonight, but you have a very special announcement considering our 5 finalists for the Hall of Fame.
Yep, absolutely. It was definitely a tough field, but first off, before we announce that, I just want to thank you, and you've been here since the beginning just like I have. Want to thank all of our fans and all of our drivers. 12 seasons isn't anything to blink an eye at, and super honored to have played a role in this and deliver our deliver what we believe is the best super speedway racing on the sim. Super great group, but more importantly than that, the community we got here is just an amazing group of guys, amazing group of drivers. But our candidates Hall of Fame committee selected some very talented drivers, and the Monday drivers certainly voted on that. And I believe they have rewarded a guy who embodies the community. He's ran our Wednesday series for a long time. He has, he's ran the league. When I stepped down, due to personal reasons, he's been a guy who everybody in the community absolutely loves, and it is a well-deserved honor. So with great pleasure, I am pleased to announce, if I can get him up here, if it'll let me. There it goes. I am pleased to announce the Hall of Fame selection for this year as Mr. Jimmy Reynolds. Jimmy, allow me to be the first to congratulate you, sir. As you are always fond of saying, without you, there'd be no us. And that goes a long way with you, sir. You have been such an integral part of this community, and I am honored to have you in this Hall of Fame.
Man, I'm speechless. I don't know what to say, man. I appreciate it. It's truly an honor.
Well, Jimmy, I'll tell you what, I was pleasantly surprised to hear that from Alex about 30 seconds ago. Right before this, you talked about going to Vegas. You paying for my trip as well?
We might as well combine it, bro. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, man. Well, outstanding. Congratulations, Jimmy. A lot of tough competition here, but it seems a well-deserved reward here for you for that Hall of Fame.
Man, I just appreciate the guys, and they're the people I was against this time. I really wasn't thinking that I was going to get it because they have better on-track stats than I do. I do quite a bit of admin work, and that's the part of the job that I like to do. I like to race as well, but I also like the admin side just as much, and to help out and to keep the league going and that behind the scenes stuff. So it's very surprising to me, but I'm very humble at the same time.
Well, Alex, qualifying has gotten underway. So before we wrap this up, any other things you'd like to add?
Yep. So, Jimmy, you know we go big here in OP. We got that budget. So, as I was outside of the track, I saw one of those vending machines that had the rings, and I paid 50 cents. And I am proud to present you with your OP Racing Hall of Fame ring. I don't think it'll turn your finger blue, but use at your own discretion.
Maybe green, right?
Maybe turn it green.
Well, man, I appreciate the effort, and that's great. Thank you very much.
All right, well, gentlemen, yeah, go ahead, Jimmy.
And thank you for you, KR, for doing your thing. And like I said, I appreciate all the guys, the racers, and it truly is. You know, it would, without them, there would be no us. So let's have a good night. Thank you.
Absolutely. So there you go, Alex, Jimmy, guys. Thank you very much. We know you gotta get down there and get qualifying, so I'll let you get right to it, boys.
Thank you so much, KR.
Thank you, sir.
All right, that is Jimmy Reynolds and Alex Green, both worthy drivers of this Hall of Fame award, but tonight it went to Mr. Reynolds. So qualifying has gotten underway. If we look at our leaderboard as they are into the final 2 minutes, Kevin Freeze has the top spot at a 52.02. Jeff Crosby Jr. 52.03. So drivers getting those lap times in. This is a new series, and we are running the trucks for season 12 here on the Premier Series. So a little bit of a change from last year or last season. Steve Hobbit chiming in on YouTube. Can't race tonight, but he is watching. Well, Steve, thank you very much for saying hello. Make sure you stick around and fill us in on important key details that you see. So with that being said, we are going to step away for the national anthem. Won't go anywhere. We'll be back with tonight's starting lineup.
We take you down onto the track for our opening ceremonies.
Ladies and gentlemen, please rise. Please remove your hats.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous flight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, as our drivers are taking to the grid here at Daytona. for the season 12 first race at Daytona under the lights. It is going to be a special race, and we've already had a very special announcement inducting Jimmy Reynolds into the OP Racing Hall of Fame. So let's get right into our starting lineup for this one. 39 drivers have entered into the session, and let's see where they stacked up in qualifying. Sebastian Marin from Dale Cup Games with a time of 52.002 and a Dale Cup Games lockout with Steve Krosik on the outside of the front row. Kevin Vries continues the trend, and then is Jeff Crosby Sr. on the outside of row 2. Row 3 will be Dude Conrad and Adam Kilday. Row 4, Richard Sanchez and Zach Workman. Row number 5, Vicente Guerrero on the inside and Zach Fritsch in the 12 to the outside. Gabe Butler and Jimmy Reynolds make up row number 12. Row number 6. Row number 7 is Cody Nagels and Les Levy. Peter deBorja and Eric Laurie for row number 8. Row number 9 going to be none other than Anthony English and Tyler Miller. Dawson Wise, who's stepped out of the booth and into the cockpit of the race car here on Monday night, will only be on the inside of row 10, and Richard Kuhn to the outside. Then it's Randall Cobb and Andy Brigante, Dave Hunt and Brian Stanley for row 12. And our final few spots here tonight going to be made up of Jeremy Stanley, Matt Wagner in row 13, row 14, Dan Harrington and Josh Ball, Dustin Logston and Nate Warren in row 15, Jeff Crosby Sr., Sean McCara for row 16. Row 17 is Bubba Winningham and Robert Morrison, and Alex Green and Stephen Miles to the outside of that row. Then we got Sean Stevens, Kenneth Bishop, and John Guerrera bringing up the tail of the field. So as the pace truck has all 38 drivers who made it to the grid, John Guerrero, the only one who did not make it. Pace truck down and away into the restart zone for the first time here tonight. Green flag is out and we are underway. Sebastian Marin on the inside leading Steve Krosik. Teammates on the front row with that silver 25 right behind them. Opening lap for season 12. Already seeing these guys down the backstretch and into turns 3 and 4. Sebastian Marin jumping up to the high side, leaving room for the 25 to squeeze on by, but Sebastian Marin going to lead the first lap of the season, the first lap of the race. Down the back stretch, side by side, very calm start here, and everyone able to get through the opening lap without too much change in position. Everyone's either moved forward 1 spot, 2 spots, maybe. The biggest mover has only gained 6 spots, and that is a rookie here on Monday night. That is Jeremy Stanley in the 61. So he is moving up very quickly. Eric Laurie setting the fastest lap of the race at a 46.34. As these trucks are really now up to full speed. Karasek in the 027, trying to nose out in front of Sebastian Marin, as Josh Ball now takes over that fast lap at a 46.31. Let's go ahead and take a look at our race info for tonight. This is a 19 race season, and it will have a chase format championship. So that means a 13 race regular season and a 6 race chase championship. Our stages are once again at lap 25 and 50. And there is one fast repair available. And we have another special guest coming in. Mr. Hoppy, you got your ears on, bud?
I certainly do, mate. How are you?
I'm just fine, man. Good to hear from you.
Give me 2 seconds, put one of my hearing aids back in.
Well, we'll let you get that back in as lap number 5 down the backstretch. The 027 and the 23 running nose to tail.
Yeah, it's looking pretty good out there, very steady at the moment, and I believe that's Seb Marin doing the job up the front there, KR.
Yeah, Sebastian Marin in the 23 qualified on the pole and has been either the first truck or the second truck. Hasn't really given much up yet, but once again, you know, not a whole lot of movement going on out there just yet.
It's still fairly early, and being Monday, it's the Premier Series, and so these guys are, well, it's the upper level. It's very fairly steady, and I can tell you right now, after running some rounds last season, these guys are pretty tough to keep up with if you've got to do green flag pit stops. So you've really got to be on the ball in this field.
Yeah, Jeremy Stanley right now is our biggest mover. In 7 laps, he's gained 10 positions, and it looks like he's using that outside lane very well.
Yeah, the 2 lanes side by side at the moment. It's all fairly clean. There's a little bit of movement there, but you're going to get that anyway. But look, it's all looking very good at the moment. Everybody doing the job that they're expected to. It's early, and everybody knows what to expect in the later stages. And as this race drags on, there's some pretty good looking liveries out there too. Those paint jobs are looking stunning at the moment.
Yeah, a lot of great paint schemes, and it's always nice to see everyone's fresh paint jobs for a new season. Oh, as the 23 gets sideways a little bit, checks up just a bit. Outside lane, that 33, that is Jeff Crosby Jr., gives him room to save that back end, and everyone keeps rolling.
Yeah, just a little bit of a tap there from Jeff Jr. On the back of Seb Marin, and Seb got a little bit loose, but yeah, he did catch it. He had a little bit of wiggle room there. Jeff Crosby realised that he touched him in not quite the right spot, but backed off a touch just to give Seb some room to fix it. As we've got the, what's that, the 27 truck, is it? Yeah, 027, I believe that's Steve Korosek. Yep, he's jumped up in front on the outside line now. So he's decided that's where he wants to be for a while. And it's just getting a little bit loose up the front there as the 25 truck jumps up in front of the outside line. They seem to think that's where the pace is going to be. Well, as I say that, they've dropped back down again.
Yeah, they are trying to make a 3rd lane. I do want to give a shout out to Alan Fritsch, chiming in, saying hello. Sports Crazy Boy 1981 saying hello. That is, oh crap. Holloway. Daniel Holloway. There we go. Nate Warren saying hello, but Nate Warren's in this race. And then Quasi Esports, that's you saying hi. And then a new name, or at least one I don't recall, that's Fitzhaig 9. Cheering for Cody. Leave it to Cody to have the fans that come up with weird names.
Well, yeah, I mean, yeah, Cody sort of moves in those odd circles, doesn't he, really?
Yeah. I wonder whatever happens if he has to turn right.
But as things do work out, now we've got the guy who we saw pretty much running the first few laps of this race, dropping back almost to midfield now in the pack there, Seb Marin. He's dropped back to about 10th spot now after leading, but he's got Vicente in front of him and then Cody in front of him on the inside.
A lot of people peeling off for pit road. Peter deBorja not going to make it look easy as he has smacked the wall. The yellow flag has come out. Dave Hunt part of that as well. As they were trying to get on a pit road, that is when everything went wrong for them. And the yellow flag is out. So let's see.
Since we're under caution, I will actually let everybody know who's watching and listening. There is nothing wrong with your sound. I am from Australia. I'm not an American.
What? No, American's the only state.
Well, I'm just saying about the accent. It sounds a bit different.
Nah. You're from America, just far away America. All right, let's take a look and see what happened here as I'm trying to back this up far enough. Not quite there yet. This is a lot harder than it looks. All right, so the 40 and the 53 making contact getting onto pit road. And then it is a scramble behind. So a bunch of torn up race cars in this one. I won't say torn up, but some impacts there, some damage that'll have to be fixed. It looks like everyone able to drive away.
Yeah, it doesn't look like there's any serious damage out of that. Nothing that can't be raced on with or rectified.
All right, so Steve, first of all, I want to thank you for jumping up here. You may not have YouTube chat open, but I do want to say it's Fitz the G9. That's how you're supposed to say it. I couldn't say that earlier. And Daniel Holloway, the Candyman, wants to know what time it is there.
It's actually 1:20 p.m.
Oh man, I was hoping you'd give it in 24 hours.
On Tuesday.
Wait, it's Tuesday?
It's Tuesday here, 1:20 in the middle of the day.
It's not Tuesday. It's Monday night.
Yeah, no, we actually got the 2024 first, so I gave everybody a heads up. It didn't look any better.
Well, I appreciate that. Oh my. Well, with all that being said, looks like everyone has made a pit stop that planned on making a pit stop.
And it looks like they've actually come out in roughly the order they went in. A couple of spots may have swapped around.
Yeah, the drivers who were on pit road was, they came out ahead. Everyone else had to hit pit lane under yellow. So, yeah, good heads up call to be right place, right time.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. As a driver, I see you've always got to love it when it works out that way. Well, then do your pit stop, and once you're actually in pit lane, the yellow flag comes out. You just rub your hands together. It's something that always makes me happy when I hear that, because when I come out, I know everybody else is going to pit. So, yeah, depending on whether you want to be at the front this early as well, KR. I mean, not everybody actually wants to be right at the pointy end this early in the race, considering we're on, lap 13 now, and out of 100. Some people like to lead from the front. I know Cody does. I know Seb does. Vicente generally, I think he likes to be at the front early on. but it depends on the track, I think, as well. Nice to see Richie Sanchez up there as well.
Okay, so I'm just now processing this. If it's Tuesday, who wins this race tonight?
Well, I can't tell you that that'd be cheating, and that gives everybody else a chance to run out and put a bet on the race like I did.
Huh. Well, give me some insider information next time. That'd be great.
Mate, I wish I had a crystal ball. I really do. Maybe it'd help me to avoid some of the incidents that go on in the other races, but yeah.
Oh, they're hard to dodge sometime, ain't they? They just jump right out in front of you some of the times.
Just looking at the driver list there in the field, a special g'day to Bubba Winningham. Bubba he's missed a couple of races through medical stuff, and it's great to see him back out on track.
Yeah, it's good to see him out there. He showed up on Wednesday into the chat room saying hello, and that he was looking forward to trying to get out here on Monday night. So yeah, I agree. Always good to see when Bubba joins us on the racetrack.
Oh yeah, absolutely. He's good to race against. He's clean. Goes about his business nicely without too much fuss. It's pretty good.
All right, so we are getting ready to go back to green flag racing. Jimmy Reynolds on the inside of row number 1 with Gabe Butler on the outside. Row 2 will be the 62 of Les Levy and the 52 of Randall Cobb. Then row 3 will be Dude Conrad on the inside, and to the outside, the 071 of Eric Laurie. I need to get a hold of Eric Laurie and see if he can get me a wiring diagram for my John Deere Gator I gotta fix. All right, pace truck down and away. Jimmy in control of the field. First caution of the night done and over with, and away we go once again as they jump to the throttle with 26 out in front. But Gabe Butler knows just what to do in this situation.
Yeah, Gabe's another one. Being the Premier Series is hard to really find a driver in this field that doesn't know how to go about his business. But yeah, with Gabe out the front there, then you Jimmy Reynolds, our Hall of Fame entrant, and then Les Levy, Randall Cobb, Dude Conrad, and Jeff Crosby Jr. Holding out the front few spots there. The field a little bit spread out. They're not quite so tight in the 2 rows that they were earlier, and they're running up to about 3 wide there at the front.
A lot of shake-ups in the teams this year. One of the biggest announcements was that Alliance Motorsports would no longer be out here on Monday night. As we go 3 wide, we are seeing quite a bit of the shakeup in a lot of things this season. And as I mentioned earlier, the racing format itself will be different when it comes time to the championship.
Yes, there've been a couple of changes in that area once the playoffs kick off. I believe it's still win and in, but then in the playoffs it's all on points. And if you win a race in the playoffs, it doesn't guarantee you a spot at the end. And we've got somebody out of control there.
Quite a few trucks getting into this tussle, coming off of turn number 4, and it looked like maybe it started with Dawson Wise in the 9. I saw him really sideways, or at least what looked like his truck. So we will back this up and see what happened. Take a look here. Randall Cobb in the 52 drops down below the yellow line. That shuffles everyone up and around, goes to 24. So Tyler Miller was the one I saw spinning. It all starts with the 52 just just brushing that apron just enough.
Yeah, it doesn't take much. Oh, yeah, it's come from the outside by the look of that, actually.
Eric Laurie involved. Andy Brigante getting a piece of it. A lot of drivers taking evasive action and trying to get, trying not to get a part of the contact.
Yeah, yeah, I think that's Eric in the 071. He's actually given the 24 truck a touch, and that's been the catalyst for that, KR.
All right, so let's go ahead and do a quick rundown of our teams here, since things have changed. A brand new team, and this is Loud Pedal Racing. There's Josh Ball, Nate Warren, and Alex Green. So we'll see how those.
That's a bit of a triple threat.
Absolutely, each one of those guys is accomplished in very unique ways to watch them. Alex Green, of course, you never want to take your eyes off of him, and Nate Warren, kind of like the quiet assassin, and then there's Josh Ball, who just always seems to find a way to the front.
It's a good way to actually term that with Nate, actually, because I can tell you now, after racing in the various series here and racing against Nate, and there's generally, until you actually look at the relative, you generally don't know that it's Nate you're racing against. He just, goes about his business fairly quietly. Just what I was saying about this Premier Series, it is the guys that tend to do that. They know their business and that sort of stuff. So this is an invite-only promotion league on Monday nights, coming from the Wednesday night and Saturday night. The Saturday night guys maybe not quite so much, but definitely Wednesday night, and people prove themselves in that league, and whether they either get invited or they request promotion, they come up to the Monday league. So this pretty much is the upper echelon, the cream of the crop as far as OP racing is concerned.
Absolutely it is. So if you're up here and you're in a team, then man, congratulations. And another driver right there behind Nate Warren, that's in a well-known team now, fairly new to us, but made a bunch of noise when they came on the scene. That is driver of the 88 of Gabe Butler, and from Team Bootnaka Esports, they are Dude Conrad, Jimmy Reynolds, Peter deBorja, Eric Laurie, and Gabe Butler, who got announced twice there for obvious reasons. And then our checkered flag motorsports drivers, they are Sean Stevens, Randall Cobb, Dave Hunt, Les Levy, and Bubba Windingham. We've talked about Bubba here tonight, and Dave Hunt, Randall Cobb, Les Levy, those guys all, well, basically everyone but Winningham's been in this league for quite a while. I think about it.
Yeah,
then we got. Go ahead.
I was just going to say, yes, I mean, you'll find that here because it is the guys who have been with the league, well, generally speaking, the longest. A lot of like foundation members of OP Racing and that sort of stuff, because they've been around for a while, they've raced with OP for a while. So you tend to find that's who's filling up all the grid spots in the Monday Night League.
All right, as we make our way down the backstretch, we're going to get to one more team. And this is Dale Cup Games. That is Cody Nichols, Vicente Guerrero, Sebastian Marin, Kevin Fries, and Steve Korosek. Used to call him Korosek, but now it's Korosek. So, and these guys work very well together as a team. They are not only teammates here in OP, but pretty much any time that they go racing, they run together.
Well, what you're going to find now is we are about to go green, KR. With Cody at the front on the inside, he's got Vicente right behind him, and those two will work very well together. They generally do in most races. Vicente will give a good push for Cody to try and get him further up the front.
All right, here we go, the 6 and the 88. to the loud pedal, if you will. It's Cody Nagels and Gabe Butler head off into turn number 1. Everyone trying to get through the gearbox cleanly and into that top gear is the 6. Pulls ahead just a little bit, that 14. That is the Italian stallion of Vicente Guerrero right there pushing on that back bumper.
You got Nate Warren sitting in behind Vicente as well, and the three of those will work together. They'll do some good pushing here on the inside line, but Gabe and Zach Workman are certainly also up to the task, and they're really sort of taking it up to Cody and Vicente and Nate Warren there at the front.
Riding on board with Nate Warren in the 2 as he is down on the low line, and you can see just how tight things can get as they make their way around. Yeah, and the 6 slides up to the high side. Vicente Guerrero surging ahead here off of turn number 2 as we make our way down the back stretch. Trouble once again, and I think this is another big one. Several cars involved.
I think the shot there from inside Nate Warren's cabin really shows that how easy it is to get a little bit loose and out of shape in these trucks. When you're in that draft and you're doing a good job of pushing, it's very easy, especially on the inside line. There's a psychological thing, whereas if the guy in front gets a little bit wobbly, you tend to get a bit wobbly yourself and you just follow him. It's certainly a subconscious thing. But you can see that Nate got a little bit loose there in behind Vicente and Cody, but they've come through that cleanly at least, although somebody else in the field obviously hasn't.
Yeah, it looks like a hard impact for Dawson Wise in the 9. Not sure if he thought he was clear of Josh Ball or had a tap that sent him up into the wall, but the 9 goes nose first into the wall, collects the 15, 71, 85. A lot of trucks in this one. A lot of bumper pieces hanging out on the infield there. Oh.
Yeah, I'm just looking at the replay at the moment as you go through it. Oh yeah, that was a fairly hard hit, nose into the wall for Dawson Wise there. It'd be interesting to see how much damage he's actually carrying for that. And yeah, body parts everywhere. Yeah, bit like a Tarantino movie, but in NASCAR.
Yeah, not human body parts, so not quite a Tarantino movie. All right, so everyone will come down pit road, and I assume that is the stage, and Vicente Guerrero going to be our stage winner.
On lap 22 of 100, yeah, that'll probably be called the stage. Yeah, it'll be close enough that they'll probably call that the stage.
All right.
Well, the first stage at least.
We got one more look at this. A request coming in from Anthony English. And Anthony knifing his way through that one. That was close. All right, so let's see here. That should be stage, and that should be Vicente Guerrero. You want to talk to him?
Yeah, bring him up. Yeah.
All right, I'll let you do it. I don't want to talk to him.
Who have we got? Vicente?
What up, guys?
Hey, how are you, buddy?
Good, good.
You seem to be you're sort of managing to keep it clean out there at the pointy end, showing us how it's done, working together with Cody there like you normally do. How have you seen the race so far?
It's been pretty good. It was fun trying to get up here right on the third lane there, but we got it done. We got up there, and then we got a caution, put us in the prime position, and I was actually hoping to push Cody to the stage win, but it happened he had to go up to the mid to let me cool down, and I ended up getting the stage, and the caution came out.
Yeah, since the last couple of updates to iRacing, there seems to be a bit more of a problem with the trucks and the Xfinity cars with the overheating. So that's something obviously you're more conscious of, and you're keeping an eye on it. Is that right?
Yeah, that's right. And then so if you're trying to cool off and you go back in, you know, you're able to make some contact to the rear end, and you'll knock off somebody's rear bumper. And I think that's what happened to Gabe. I think he lost his rear bumper there in that last stint.
Yeah, just prior to that incident happening, we were actually sitting in the cabin with Nate Warren was behind you, and things were getting a little bit wobbly. Are you finding that the draft is actually causing you any issues tonight, or?
No, I mean, the draft is pretty good, like normal, you know, just the pushing, you know. I don't think you go like a tandem 3 wide unless you're really perfect, but the draft, it feels pretty good. I mean, you just gotta watch it. You can't really, when you're behind somebody entering a turn, you kind of almost, you can't, because you can't see the entry, so you kind of just have to, you know, just predict it, and it's hard, you know, somebody's not used to pushing.
And very quickly before we go green, are you finding that there's any real speed in the middle and on the outside there tonight, or is it all on the inside line? I
think it's probably mid, because you're able to cool down the truck a little bit easier. Inside you can't really, you know, cool it off, and then the outside definitely you can't. But if you want to run the outside, you have to wait till the front 2 lanes start, you know, getting hot. Then maybe you could be able to work that outside lane.
All right, then. Thanks very much for talking to us, Vicente. Good luck tonight, and we'll let you go because you're about to go green, so I'll let you get your mind back on what you're doing.
10-4. Thanks, guys.
Oh man, so glad you talked to him. I didn't want to do that. Oh crap, I should have moved him first.
Yeah, move it.
Oh, that was Vicente Guerrero.
That's probably always a good idea. Move him before you actually, Otherwise he's going to listen to us while he's trying to drive.
That was Vicente Guerrero. Good sport, the Italian stallion. Stage 1 winner, picked up the first stage of the season. So here we go. We'll fire him off. Get ready for stage 2. This one will end.
Hunt leads them away
at the completion of lap 50.
And Cody's made a quick move there to jump up in front of Vicente, who's got Alex Green behind him. So Alex probably made all sorts of plans to push Vicente forward there, and then suddenly Cody's just not where he was expected to be. He's obviously looking at taking that lead away from Dave Hunt in the 53 truck, but he's being pushed really well by Nate Warren at the moment. And so there's not a lot of gain to be made at the front there, KR.
Now the 6 is out in front, the 53 down on the inside, right underneath, being helped by the 2 of Nate Warren. So with this big shuffle stage and incidents that we had, right now we do have 37 trucks on the lead lap. Only one truck not on the lead lap. That is the 38 of Josh Ball.
We've got 2 on the outside creating a 3rd line, and that looks like it's Steve Korosek and Seb Marin.
Trying to start something in that 3rd lane. You know, I will say so far the racing here looks like that 3rd lane is the way to be, but not a lot of people trying to get up there yet.
Well, it's only the 2 trucks on the far outside in that 3rd lane, but they seem to be able to make pace with the other 2 lines of trucks. So even though there's only the 2 on the far outside, they just don't seem to be suffering with speed. And there's a lot of really good side drafting going on there. As the guys actually move around a fair bit on track, it's not necessarily that they're not under control or anything for anybody watching. There is a lot of work going on there to try and keep some air flowing into the front of the trucks, as we discussed with Vicente, with them getting hot while you're actually drafting those vehicles in front. And Dave Hunt manages to get his nose in front as Steve Korosek drops down in front of Cody. Nice move there from Steve.
Steve to the middle lane, the 53 and the 2 still down on the bottom. Dude Conrad, 3rd truck on the inside line. As we work through lap 27, I do want to look at some of our biggest movers. Dustin Logston First race for him here on Monday night. He's up 23 spots to be where he is at.
Yeah, that's a good pickup. Seb Marin now leads that middle line, and he's side by side with Steve Korosek at the moment, who's got Dave Hunt pushing behind him and then Nate Warren in behind him. That outside line, that third line, there's now got 4 trucks in it, but there's 1 or 2 trucks gap in between the second and third truck, so that won't be helping their cause any. They really do need to bunch that up on that outside line if they're going to get anywhere.
Yeah, you gotta be right there in that pushing zone.
But Brian Stanley leads that outside line alongside Seb Marin in the middle, and Steve Korosek moves to the middle lane in front of Seb Marin, who's sitting in front of Cody.
Oh no, it's Corey now.
Yeah, it's Corey Neagles.
Yeah, so that third lane has really fallen back and now blends into the second lane right behind the 52 of Randall Cobb.
I think what Vicente was saying might be the case. They've gone to the outside to create the third line and found that it's a bit of a struggle out there, and so they've dropped back into the second lane, so we're back to 2 wide.
Adam Kilday in the 85, pretty much the only truck that has lost the draft. He is running around by himself in 37th spot. Doesn't sound like he's getting all the RPMs he'd like to have. The tough break for him. He's going to need the help from a caution to get back into this thing. A lot of racing to go still, not even at the halfway point, so he might be able to get back and be competitive.
Plenty of time and plenty of racing left. We've still got 70 laps to go in this one. As we just click over lap 31 now as they cross the line. And we've still got Seb Marin leading on the inside line with Steve Korosek behind him. But Vicente sitting right behind Cody Nagels on that middle line with who's number 25, Kevin Freeze, obviously sitting in behind them. As Seb Marin moves to the outside to stop Cody from taking the lead, and Steve Korosek will try and actually take advantage of that on the inside line, with Dave Hunt pushing and Nate Warren right behind him, as the 08 truck, Dude Conrad, is certainly right in the mix for this as well.
On board with the 08, he pushes Nate Warren. Vicente Guerrero just to the ahead and outside. And Steve, you know, running with these guys like you do, you're down on the inside. Do you feel claustrophobic when you're next to that yellow line? You got a truck to your outside?
I wouldn't say claustrophobic. It can be pretty intense, especially when we go 3 wide. And if you're sitting in that front pack there, say the front 10 or 12, and you're even 2 wide there, it's just a matter of just keeping your head and just one eye on that yellow line. You can touch it, but don't cross it. Try and keep it as steady as possible, because what you've also got to realise is the guy behind you is trying to follow you, and if you're moving around left and right, that just annoys the hell out of the guy behind you, and it actually puts him off his game, because all of a sudden he's watching what you're doing and not concentrating on what he's doing. So you've got to keep it steady, you've got to keep it as smooth as possible. But yeah, I wouldn't say claustrophobic, but it can get pretty intense when the heat's on. Yeah. It's one of those situations where now they're 3 wide. If you're in the middle, sitting about where Cody or Seb Marin is, that can be so intense that when you get, somebody's touched the wall there on the outside line. But yeah, no, I wouldn't say claustrophobic, but it certainly can be pretty intense, because, apart from anything else, what you've got running through your mind is, don't screw up, don't screw up, don't screw up.
I screwed up. That's usually how it goes.
And when the caution comes out in the middle of all that, you just breathe a big sigh of relief.
All right, so the battle at the front between the 23 and the 14. And we have, I'd say Dave Hunt might be thinking about coming down pit road before too much longer. A few of these guys are going to try and hit pit road here in the next few laps.
I'd say that's probably the case, KR. They'll be keeping a close eye on how few laps they've got left in the tank. But they'll also, it's also a case of trying to work it to your advantage. I mean, it's easy just to, oh yeah, okay, I need fuel, I'll go in, but it's just not that simple sometimes. And you've also got to, you don't want to go in on your own for a start. If you get right down there and you hang out and then you get down to a lap or 1.5 laps of fuel in the tank, then obviously I've got to go in, I've got no choice. But you want to try and go in with other people, especially if you're running at the front. You don't want to actually let them get away, and you certainly need other cars around you, or you're just going to lose the whole pack and you just drop off at the back. So that's something that's really a priority, is not to lose that keeping in touch with the rest of the front pack.
Want to check
nice
in.
Move there from the 52. He's moved down the inside line. I'd say he's getting ready to pit.
Yeah, a lot of these guys trying to get to the inside. I was just getting ready to say the 62 Les Levy dropped down to the inside, so he was the last truck in that double file formation. But now, while I was saying that, it looks like a bunch more have jumped up to the outside. Here comes Dude Conrad and a couple other trucks, Eric Laurie, Jimmy Reynolds, Peter deBorja, on the pit road.
The guys who are a few trucks back will have an extra lap or two of fuel. It uses less fuel when you're in the draft a few trucks back than what it is when you're leading. So at the moment, you'll have Seb Marin and Cody and a couple of the others at the front there, Vicente, those guys. They're probably using more fuel than the guys who are back where, say, Randall Cobb and Dave Hunt are at the moment. And I think one thing that we've seen out of this is that third line disappeared again fairly quickly. So I'd say the guys they're coming up on lap cars now as well. So where are they going to go? The outside or the apron? This is going to be a big question. And they've gone to the apron. One of them has anyway. Not sure what the other guy's going to do. Is he going to get it? He's going to hold his ground and make the field go around him. Ooh. Probably not a great decision. I did that last week and I felt really bad about it. But that was more circumstance than intentional. I don't know whether he just even made room for himself to go somewhere. He just didn't do it.
Yeah, it is always a tough situation to be in, as lap traffic's coming. Where do I go? And I always say just pick a lane and hold it.
Well, it's very easy to concentrate on what other things are going on around you, especially if you're traveling with somebody else. And then all of a sudden, you keep an eye on your track map overlay and stuff and your relative. But then, you get distracted by something, and then suddenly you look up in the rearview mirror and you've got the whole pack of leaders coming at you. And like last week, for instance, I looked up and was going to go to the outside and noticed they were 3 wide. So then I thought, okay, I'll go to the apron. And the inside line went to the apron to go around me, so I just held my line and just let them go, because if I'd continued to go to the apron, that would have been an absolute disaster. So, yeah, at the spur of the moment, it's very easy to actually get distracted, not notice how close they are to you. So perhaps that was what was going on with that blue truck then. I didn't notice what the number was or who was driving, but either way, it all worked out okay. The guys got around him, and we're back at the front. Sitting right in behind Seb Marin. That's Cody. We were sitting in his cabin a few minutes ago, I think. But either way, Cody sitting behind Seb Marin. And you got, is that Gabe Butler on the outside? In the second row. Yep.
Gabe Butler's on pit road.
Sorry, it's Andy Briganti. Pardon me, number 13. Yep.
There we go. We'll figure out who we're talking about here in a moment.
Yeah, the Lamborghini truck's Andy. Yep.
All right, so the 13 challenging to the outside. We got more drivers peeling off for pit road. Zach Workman leading this group. Jeff Crosby Jr. coming in hot, making some good use of that momentum on the pit lane.
I'm very interested. Sorry, I was going to say I'm very interested to see when Andy decides to pit, because he doesn't seem in any hurry whatsoever to get to that inside line at the moment. And he knows the rule. He knows he can't pit from outside. It's going to be interesting to see what he does. He must be just about due for fuel, surely.
Yeah, several of these guys are. The other thing is we really haven't seen a large group come down pit road. It's been a handful of trucks here and there.
And we've got the flock of seagulls flying in down towards the pit entry there.
Yeah, all these guys pitted on lap 22.
Yeah, so they've done about 19 to 20 laps on that tank of fuel since the last pit stop. So Cody, Seb Marin, Steve Korosek, the whole front pack has now come in together.
Of our drivers who have pitted, it looks like Jeff Crosby Jr. is in front. So making a very good pit stop. And now he has a full head of steam as he is trying to make his way around this next group of drivers as they are racing off of pit road.
He's put himself in a very good position there, Jeff Jr. And going in for that pit stop just a lap or two before the other guys has given him the undercut, and he's managed to put himself at the front. And what's going to happen is that now we've got the lead pack. They've come back out pretty much together, and they're going to bunch up here and they're going to work together, and they're going to be all over the back of the guys who didn't need to pit on this lap, who'd already done it.
So Robert Morrison on the pit road as our last group of drivers who had just pitted now make their way off of pit lane, and Sebastian Marin in the 23 going to inherit the race lead. Jeff Crosby Jr., who had a good run going, will end up, was the lead truck in the second lane until someone just made a very sharp move out in front of him.
Yeah, Steve Korosek jumped to the outside in front of him, and it was just a little bit too close, and Jeff gave him a little bit of a tap just to let him know he was there.
Well, close racing is the name of the game, but you got to be able to keep it fairly clean.
Yeah, Zach Workman doing a good job in behind Jeff Jr. there on the outside line, and Nate Warren in behind him, and then Dawson Wise, who's sort of recovered from that earlier incident. But Steve Korosek continues to lead this on the outside line in front of Jeff Jr. and Seb Marin on the inside, with Cody right behind him, and then Kevin Freeze and Vicente Guerrero. And here we go, somebody who we haven't spoken about yet, really, is Zach Fritsch, and he's actually sitting in behind on that inside line there as well, right in behind Vicente, fourth truck back, as Cody really makes a push for the lead of this one. But Seb Marin's got him covered, and Steve Korosek does a great job of pushing Seb.
You mentioned Zach Fritsch. At one point in this race, he was all the way at the tail end of the field, but now it's time to pay out for a stage. He's decided he's going to start showing up at the front.
Well, I think that's what Zach does more often than not. I mean, sometimes it depends on his mood on the day, I suppose. Sometimes he'll want to run at the front early, and other days he'll start a bit further back and just wait to see how things unfold. But if that's the strategy he's employed today, then it's definitely working for him, because there he is sitting inside the top 6 or 8, and he's doing a pretty good job sitting in behind Vicente there, as we've got a lap truck on the outside holding the wall, let everybody by, and still that 2 lines. I mean, occasionally we get a third line breakout, and then they just seem to discover that there's just not enough speed on the outside to make it work for them. And they all tend to blend back into that middle line again.
Another truck getting past, and I believe that's looks like Adam Kilday going another lap down in the 85.
Yeah, not one of Adam's best days, unfortunately. I don't know why he's actually in that situation, in that position, but yeah, Adam's he'll fight back. He'll just simply look at it and he'll go, well, I've got more than half the race left. I can still do this. I can fight on. So I expect to see Adam a bit further up and back onto the lead lap before too long, to be honest.
Yeah, it's a long race. You got to keep your truck out there no matter what happens. As long as that thing runs and you can get out there, you just keep going, because you never know how many are going to get eliminated in the race. And by the end
That's
of
exactly
it,
right.
By the end of it, you can gain 10 spots.
Well, you don't know what's going to happen with you, and you don't know what's going to happen with the other trucks. And above all else, this is a championship round, and points matter. It all comes to fruition. It's only round one, so any points you can pick up here, even if you finish 23rd and the lap down, you're going to pick up some points and then hope for a better run next week, sort of thing. But it is a championship. It's not a one-off. Therefore, you get out there and you just keep pushing and you keep going. You don't know what's going to happen throughout the race, and it could very well be that you end up on the lead lap, sitting inside the top 5, top 6, and challenging for the lead in the closing stages. Anything is possible here, KR.
So here they come onto the front stretch once again. Cody Nagels on the inside of Steve Karosik. They are side by side. Sebastian Marin in the 23. Been up front for a majority of this race. He had that one little stint where he fell to mid-pack, but outside of that, he has just been all in the front and just really hasn't, pretty much just running wherever he wants.
Well, that middle line is definitely popular at the moment. We've only got 3 trucks on the inside line, 4 now as Steve Karosik drops down.
So as we begin what will be the final lap in this stage, Karosik and Marin side by side one more time around to wrap up stage 2.
And Karosik, I think, will take the stage win. As Jeff Crosby Jr. he's gone back to the outside to create that third line and taken 2 or 3 with him. We'll see how long it lasts before they give up on that far outside line there, because it hasn't really worked all night. Certainly not to the point that people want to be out there. They keep giving it a try, but then they just seem to blend back into that middle line as Cody leads through. And we've got Seb Marin out of shape all over the place.
Contact with Steve Karosik. And I think Cody Nagels is going to be our stage winner, as he was out front at the line. But Karosik hard impact into the wall. Sebastian Marin heavy contact as well, bringing out this yellow flag.
Yeah, I thought the stage was the lap before, but it wasn't. So Steve Karosik didn't actually win that stage. It looks like it was Cody. And they'll come in and take advantage of the caution. They'll top up their fuel, which will change the strategy for the later half of the race a little bit.
Let's take another look at this one here. The 23 third truck in that middle lane. He just gets turned into a ping pong.
Yeah, that was a big hit on the inside wall on the infield there by Steve Karosik.
All right, so the 6th is our stage 2 winner.
Kevin Fritsch has actually positioned himself really well for the restart. He'll actually, well, as long as Cody takes the inside, because the drivers do have the option. But we'll see what happens when they leave the pits. Will they actually, who will win the race out of the pits? This is going to be the question, because whoever does that is going to be either leading or on the outside for the restart.
All right, so they make their way onto pit road. Everyone hits their pit stalls.
Sorry, I had to mute my mic there for a sec while I had a choking fit.
And our stage 2 winners off of pit road. And that's another driver from Dale Cup Games. Steve, I'll let you take it away.
We got Cody Nagels in there, have we?
Oh, is it Steve Hoppin? Is that you?
It is. I'm in the commentary booth.
That is awesome, man. Good to hear from you. How you been?
Not too bad, mate. Not too bad. Just unable to race today. The arthritis got in the way, so wasn't able to actually be there. So decided to jump in the booth with KR and give it a little bit more flavour and just back him up on what he does. Congratulations on the stage win, mate. How are you seeing the race at this point?
It's been a pretty good race. All 5 teammates at Dale Cup Games been running a strong race. I think a couple of them got caught up in that, but they should be back up to the front. Communication's been well. Kevin's new joining the team this season and been kind of gelling together, and it just doesn't seem like we're missing a beat really with the new teammate. Kevin's one of the best out here, and he seems to run the same playbook we do, and it's just right now we're hitting on all cylinders, and hopefully we can keep it that way towards the back half of this race.
Well, it was interesting to see the race off pit lane there when you stopped under caution. I mean, it was you and then Kevin, and it was a matter of who got out there first as to who was actually going to get the lead spot on the restart, and Kevin's managed to actually get out just ahead of you, but that puts the team on the front row and a bit of a shutout there, and you've got Jeff Crosby Jr. Behind Kevin on the inside, and I think it's Dawson Wise is going to be sitting in behind you on the restart. So it's going to be very interesting, mate. You'll have to be on your game.
Well, absolutely. I got a good rapport with Dawson. I run with him in other leagues, and as far as Kevin goes, because he's without the faster pair, I have the responsibility to take care of him and make sure we keep his truck up here, because this is the last one he has.
Yeah, unfortunately, Seb was a casualty in that situation, and Steve Karosik actually took a big hit when he got into a bit of a spin and took the infield concrete wall with him. So we're waiting to see where those 2 trucks re-enter and how they're going to go after. Well, I imagine they'll probably have to use their fast repair because there was a lot of damage there, but you've managed to miss the rough stuff so far.
Yeah, absolutely, and hopefully I can keep it that way. The mentality I normally run is just keep it up front. Like the mid-pack to me is a little bit sketchy, so if I'm not in the front, just go to the back and let things kind of shake out a little bit before I decide to come back to the front. So just paying attention how the lines are moving and where the sketchiness is, and just stay away from it.
That outside line, that third line, just doesn't seem to be working tonight. People keep having a go at it and then melding back into the middle line, but so it's obviously not a lot of speed on that far outside. The middle line, Vicente believes, is where there's a lot of speed. How are you finding that?
Well, I think it has to do with the cool track temp too. Everyone is cooling so well on the bottom 2 lanes. It's just not giving that third lane much of a chance.
All right, mate. See how you go on this restart. Good luck, and we'll catch up with you later.
Thank you.
There we go. That's Cody Nagels, our stage winner. And he's actually starting on the outside on the front row next to his teammate Kevin Fritsch as the truck pulls off and they come into the go zone and they're waiting for that green light because it's go on green, not go on the leader. As they cross the line, they're under power and away they go.
The 6 on the outside, the 25 on the inside. Jeff Crosby Jr. pushing on the 25. The 9 of Dawson Wise pushing on the 6. Those guys all getting away cleanly The back section of the field, though, a little bit more disjointed, but everyone still trying to get up to speed.
And Richie Sanchez has just moved back to the outside line behind the man who just keeps popping up tonight, Nate Warren. He just keeps appearing at the front as Cody Nagels drops to the inside line ahead of his teammate Kevin Fries, leaving Dawson Wise to try and take advantage of the fact he's got nobody in front of him. So he's got clean, cold air coming into the truck. But yeah, if Nate and Richie can actually give him a good push, then they can certainly challenge Cody and Kevin and Jeff Jr. for the front running spots there.
So Nagels in the 6 has the advantage for the moment. Dawson Wise in the 9. Well, now he's behind once again, the 6. So Cody Nagels trying to share the love between the lanes.
And believe me, there'll be a lot of work going on in discord between the teammates as Cody moves back to the inside in front of Kevin Fries again. He's obviously decided that that's where he'd rather be. He sort of stopped Dawson's forward progress there for a minute, but decided the inside line was the place to be. So he's worked it out, and he's gone back to the outside or the middle lane again in front of Dawson. So it's an interesting strategy as to what Cody's doing there at the moment, moving back and forward between the middle line and the inside line as Kevin Fries pokes his nose in front, getting a decent push from Jeff Jr. And we've got the 61 truck in behind that. A little bit of a gap there, but he's certainly in the hunt. Dawson just doesn't seem to be able to get the pace to get up the front there with Cody Nagels as they start to spread out a bit right at the front there now.
Yeah, we've got another caution flag on the speedway. And I'm not really sure what this one is for. Any ideas?
No, I'm just actually trying to look through the field. I'm not seeing anything obvious. I don't know why that flag's come out. It was thrown by an admin, so I'm not sure why at this point.
Big dust up down the backstretch.
Okay.
No one really too far out of shape, just everyone's scrambling. The 53 of Dave Hunt maybe pointed in the wrong, not necessarily the wrong direction, but just doesn't look like he's where he would like to be.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, a little bit messy there on the back. Yeah, a couple of trucks all over the place there at the moment. I didn't see any.
Yeah,
Sorry,
it looked like just a little bit of contact, so.
Yeah, it didn't look like there was anything overly dramatic there, but it looked like there was going to be a situation, so they've thrown the flag thinking that there was going to be a big mess, and it didn't turn out that way. Everybody seemed to get it back under control before we copped too much damage on those trucks towards the back half of the field. But the boys are taking advantage of the yellow flag. They're going to top the fuel up. Making sense.
Yep, and Cody Nagels winning the race.
Only been about, 7 laps or something since they pitted, but that difference in fuel could mean the difference towards the end of the race.
Yeah, Cody Nagels winning the race off of pit road. Josh Ball getting one of his multiple laps back that he was down. So, well, not quite getting that lap back. He's in front of the leader. Josh Ball last on pit road on lap 49.
Yeah, but it's not going to help him sitting there. He'll probably get a wave by because I think everybody pitted except those 2 trucks. So Josh Ball and the 85 truck, I think it is. That's Adam. So whether they get a wave by or not when the lights go out, I don't know. we'll just have to wait and see, I suppose. But they certainly don't want to be sitting there on the restart in front of Cody and Kevin. And then you've got Dawson and Jeff Jr. behind there. So the last place you're going to want to be is in front of those front 4 trucks on the restart. So it's going to be interesting to see if they don't get a wave by. They're probably going to have to sacrifice another lap, because getting out of the way is probably going to be the only option they've got, unless they feel they've got the pace to actually, put in the speed to actually not get in the way. And Cody's opted for the outside line, the outside line, and that's left Kevin to sit in behind those 2 lap trucks on the inside. And they've got the wave by now, so they go past the pace car, so that cleans up the front of the field there a bit, and those guys will actually tag onto the back of the field, and hopefully, yes, that's just put them back onto 1 lap down instead of 2. So that worked out well for Josh and Adam Kilday.
Yeah, they're going to be the wave around, so they are just a little bit off on their fuel from everyone else now.
Yeah, because they stayed out, they got the wave around, but at the same time, yeah, their fuel stop now is going to be out of sync with the rest of the field again, and that's going to hurt them, depending on how much fuel they've still got on board, as to how soon they're going to have to pit. But it was worth it to stay out and get that lap back, rather than pit with everybody and stay 2 laps down. It really is a balancing act when you're in that situation.
Just gotta make the best of it as you roll through your night.
That's all you can do, and you sort of play the circumstances as they come, work with the situation. They've gotten a lap back now, but they're probably going to have to pit well before everybody else. So we'll just have to wait and see how that plays out for Josh Ball and Adam Kilday, who will be coming up on the back of the pack now in time for the restart. And Cody and Kevin Free's going to lead this pack away, and Jeff Jr. on the outside behind Cody Nagels, and then Richie Sanchez in behind him. And you've got Kevin Freeze, Dawson Wise, and Nate Warren, the front 3 trucks on that inside line.
So our pace truck going to get out of the way. We're going to fire them off once again. Cody Nagels in the 6, Kevin Freeze in the 25. Here we go. Green flag is out. Working lap 60. This race on the downhill side of things. And they absolutely still have almost every truck capable of winning this race. Bubba Winningham, John Guerrero out of the race. Everyone else still has a shot, because Josh Ball, Adam Kilday, even though they're 1 lap down, that's just 1 lap with 40 laps to go. I have a feeling we're going to get 1 or 2 more yellows that'll put these guys back into the thick of things.
I'd say that'll probably be the case, yeah. I expect to see both of them back on the lead lap in the next 20 laps or so, maybe. At some point at least, they'll both get back on the lead lap, which will give them a shot. So, yeah, pretty much the entire field that's left on track now, which is nearly the entire field that started this race, will be in with a shot. But getting that lap back is just the beginning of it. Then you've got to race your way through the field. And, of course, none of these guys are going to make it easy.
Oh, no. No. It'll never be easy for any of them. No matter who they are and how far back they are or forward, it's always going to be a rough one.
But both Josh and Adam are fairly experienced at this, and they'll know what to do with the rest of this race.
As the yellow flag is out once again.
That's unexpected. That's fairly... Yeah, okay. Be interesting to see what brought that out.
Not 100% sure again, because I don't have...
Looking through the field, I'm not seeing anything. Nobody appears to be recovering from a lose or contact or anything, so...
Issue through the tri-oval. no one was sideways. That's kind of what triggers things for me, is when iRacing says there's an incident. And
as we saw with, I think it was that last one, there were trucks everywhere and it was looking like something was going to happen, and the admin threw the caution. But in this case, yeah, there was a couple of people got loose, but it doesn't look like anything overly dramatic has happened. It looks like they've managed to catch it again.
Alex Green, Vicente Guerrero making contact, the 14 trying to squeeze through.
Well, Vicente is not going to be happy about being back that far in the field, so he's going to be pretty determined to put himself back where he was in that first front half of the race. He's not going to be happy with being further back than where back to where he is at the moment. So Cody's just opted to come back in again. He's going to top that fuel up again. It'll be interesting to see what Josh Ball and Adam Kilday do, because if they stay out and the entire field pits, then they should get another wave around, which would put them back on the lead lap already.
Yeah, Josh Ball stays out. Adam Kilday hits pit road.
So we should see Josh get a wave around and get back on the lead lap, because I think everybody pitted.
I think Josh Ball is going to get the free pass. So he will be on the lead lap. He will pit next time around. And then that will just leave Adam Kilday. Steve, I want to say Bubba Winningham is in YouTube chat. And he said hello.
Good day to Bubba. It's great to see him back on track today. He obviously is feeling up to it. He's had a bit of a back issue, and he's had that taken care of. So great to see him back on track today, and good luck to him in the rest of this race.
All right, so Dan Harrington did not pit with the rest of the field. So Harrington, I don't know if he's going to come down pit road. He was last on pit road on lap 58. So he might stay out.
He may stay out. He's only used a few laps with the fuel. And because he wasn't at the front, he's probably used a bit less than everybody else if he was further back in the field. It'll be interesting to see if he pits this time. The lights are still on the truck, so he's got time to actually pit. But just taking a look at his position in the field, Dan Harrington is on the lead lap. So what he's basically done, by the looks of it, is put himself at the pointy end.
All right, so Harrington not coming down pit road. Take over the race lead.
Steve coming out.
Sebastian Marin. Yeah, these guys stayed on pit road to fix some damage. Sebastian Marin has gone a lap down because he has had an extended pit stop.
Yeah, Vicente won't be happy at the moment. I've got him showing up as being in 32nd position, so not where he wants to be, and it's not where he spent the first half of this race. So, but I'm showing him still being on the lead lap, just way back in the field. So I expect that he'll actually push pretty hard to get back towards the front end. Richie Sanchez sitting third truck back on the inside. So he'll be pretty keen to do something with this restart. But he's got Kevin Freeze right in front of him. And Cody opting to start from the outside again.
Yeah, Nagel's in the 6 on the outside lane. Jeff Crosby Jr. in the 33 right behind him.
And Dawson Wise and Dude Conrad on the outside. So that's that front 4 trucks on the outside. So Cody will probably get a good start here, and if the other 3 are on the ball, they'll go with him. See what sort of start Dan Harrington can get here. He's going to need to put in a good start because he's got Kevin Fritsch right behind him and then Richie Sanchez.
Green flag comes out. Harrington and Nagels going to lead this field into turn 1.
He's holding his own there at the moment, side by side with Cody, and he's got Kevin Fritsch pushing. So Cody hasn't been able to get any advantage from that outside line just yet. But he's certainly stuck his nose in front of Dan Harrington now. But going through the turn here, Dan will poke his nose back in front, which is what he does. A little bit of a gap opening up from between Richie Sanchez and the trucks behind him. With Jeff Crosby Jr. giving a good push to Cody there, trying to get him up the front, and Cody jumps to that lower line. Stops Dan Harrington from getting any further advantage from that. Jeff Crosby Jr. should really be trying to get his nose up in front of Cody there at the moment, which is what he does. But will he drop to the lower line? He's clear enough. Dawson Wise given a good push.
Yeah, Jeff Crosby Jr. in the 33. I believe this is the first time he is out in the race lead. He has been battling to be up front for a while. I do think that's the first time the 33 is the leader.
Yeah, he's not far enough in front of Cody now. Cody's managed to pull up alongside him, just enough to stop him from dropping to that inside line. Dude Conrad moving around a little bit there in front of Nate Warren, but Dawson Wise is continuing to give a good push to Jeff Jr., who's now just clear enough of Cody if he wants that inside line, but he's not taking it. He's staying where he is. But Dawson jumps down. Nice move from Dawson Wise. Jumps down to the inside line in front of Cody and takes the lead of this race.
So Dawson down on the inside. I think this is Dawson Wise's first time. No, not his first time. First time in a while. He led earlier in this race, but the 9 has kind of been embattled at the mid-pack for a while. Involved in a couple incidents.
Dude Conrad trying to give a good push to Jeff Jr., but he's not getting any advantage out of it. Nate Warren sort of leaving a little bit of a gap there because Dude seems to be moving around a little bit there. So I think Nate's just being a little bit conservative to see what happens. And now Dawson has been pushed by Cody, and Dawson's moved up to the outside, and Dawson's gone. And he's almost taken Cody with him, but Cody's lost a heap of spots there, and he's run off onto the apron.
We stay green as that was a single car spin off the racing surface.
Yeah, onto the apron in the infield, so that won't bring out a caution.
Yeah, Dawson Wise, big loser in that situation. We were on board with Jimmy Reynolds as you can see that happening and developing. Reynolds being inducted into the Hall of Fame earlier this evening. Right now finds himself in 25th and just kind of riding around at the back.
Well, there doesn't appear to be any damage to Cody's truck. I think it was just a fairly gentle contact as Dawson spun off onto the infield, but I don't know what actually caused it. I don't know whether Jeff Jr. gave him a little bit of a tap. Really didn't see anything in that. I think it was just one of those little racing things that happens.
So Cody Nagels in the 6, now has to work his way back to the front.
Well, Kevin Fritsch has gone to the far outside and dropped right back. So not sure what Kevin's doing there, but he's dropped right back in the field.
Well, I'll tell you what, every time I think I know what this group of drivers is going to do, they find a new way to throw a curveball.
Cody battling at the moment further back in the field. Knows that he's got nearly 30 laps to go. So he'll be patient. And he'll be very tradesman-like in this, but he will get himself back to the front at some point. He's gone out to the outside. There's 3 wide, and Cody's decided to try and work with the guys on that far outside third line. As Jeff Jr. up, and we've got a truck into the wall. I believe it was Zach Fritsch.
A lot of trucks into the wall now. Junior into the wall.
There's
38, the 82.
A big coming together. So there's plenty of damage on these trucks now.
The 15 of Jeff Crosby Sr., Zach Fritsch in the 12, Vicente Guerrero. Let's go on board with the 14 as they are all scattered. Very few trucks getting through this one.
Yeah, I don't know whether there was a touch there. I see Josh Ball there got through it cleanly. So he'll be pretty happy with that because he's managed to get himself back onto the lead lap. So he'll be happy that he came through that cleanly. So I imagine we'll probably see Josh Ball pit and try and get out at the front end of the field. But Cody's carrying a lot of damage. Anybody who hasn't used their fast repair yet will probably need to use it on this one. There was a lot of damage and a lot of body panels flying around there, KR.
That there was. We're on board with Kenneth Bishop as he tried to go through the grass to escape it all. Looks like he got tagged in the rear as he was almost clear. Grabs the gear and keeps rolling.
Well, what that's going to do is actually completely shuffle the front order in this race.
Yeah, it's going to really change things up a bit.
And just looking at one of the trucks coming into the pits there, I can't see. I think 61 is completely missing the front of his truck. So it's going to be interesting to see who can actually still use a fast repair and who's going to have to sit in the pits or even go out and run with a damaged truck. It's not the point of the race where you want to be running with a damaged truck. I mean, we're inside the last 30 laps. And that's not an ideal situation. Especially for anybody who's actually been running in that front 10 or 12 for most of the race, to suddenly be in a situation where you've got to run with a damaged truck or spend an extensive amount of time in the pits waiting to repair damage.
Yeah, you don't want to have too much damage at this point.
Anybody who's actually run with a bit of damage so far has now got the chance to actually use a fast repair if they've hung on to it. Because if you, depending on how much damage you got out of that, then it's probably the time to use it, yeah. But we'll just have to wait and see. As I said, this will really shuffle up the front order of the pack in this race, as we see Tyler Miller sitting out front at the moment. At least according to what iRacing's telling me.
Yeah, Tyler Miller, Gabe Butler at the front of this field.
Zach Workman is up the front there now as well with Dude Conrad.
Dude Conrad in the 08.
I'm just looking to see what trucks are actually at the front that might be out of order, but I'm not really seeing any. Vicente's there, but now they're Now they're going in for another stop, or some trucks are going in for their stop. They didn't go first time around. Somebody that we haven't really had a chance to talk about is Les Levy in the 62, who started 14th in this. I think is currently sitting 18th, but on the lead lap. So there's opportunities there for Les to do something with this.
Yeah, the 62, all he needs is a shot. He's a driver that can bring it home if he's still running and towards the front of the field.
Dawson's trucks is in one piece, but it looks like it's been, beat up in a back alley somewhere. Looks like Cody used his fast repair. He must have hung on to it because that truck looks pretty much complete and in the same condition it started the race, which means that he'll be quick.
Now we're stacked up 2 by 2, so won't be too much longer before we fire them off and end this caution to make their way.
I believe the only truck we've lost so far is John Guerra, but I'm seeing Bubba Winningham down 22 laps, but I don't know whether he's still running.
I know Bubba chiming in on YouTube chat saying he was done.
Okay, that's a shame. Seb Marin sitting at the back of the field with Cody and Richie Sanchez alongside him. Showing Richard Sanchez as 25th.
Sanchez all the way down in 25th. There he is. There's still one Chevy Land truck out there, Bubba. Sanchez machine will get it done. So
yeah, I certainly wouldn't write Richie off just yet. Anybody who's on the lead lap's got a shot at this, depending on what happens in the next 25 laps or so.
Yeah, remember,
I mean, as we saw, this whole field's has been mixed up by that incident that just took place. So
yeah, it was about 10 laps ago where we were talking about just seeing Adam Kilday and Jeff Ball 1 lap down. Well, now they are both back on the lead lap, but now we have 2 more trucks, Randall Cobb, Sebastian Marin, not on the lead lap. Jeff Crosby Jr. out of the race, sitting on pit road, and Bubba Winningham scorecard pulled out of the race.
Yeah, I didn't see Jeff involved in that incident, but he must have copped a fair bit of damage out of it if he's still sitting in pits.
Yeah, he smacked them all a ton.
Whatever. So, yeah, showing us 3 laps down at the moment, 4 laps now. So either he's sitting there repairing damage or he's decided that enough's enough.
Yeah, I have a feeling he is working on the damage, but with the way that he smacked that wall, it could be a while before we see him back out there.
Yeah, and with only about 23, 24 laps to go, anybody who's 4 laps down at the moment, I think could probably is a good buy. But as I said, it's a championship and all the points matter.
On board with Richard Kuhn, currently in the 26th spot, kind of running around at the back, having a quiet night. Richard Kuhn making a playoff run last season. Let's see if he can do it again.
Well, that's it. I mean, we've still got 34 trucks on the lead lap, going back as far as Steve Korosek in 34th. Then you've got Randall Cobb and Seb Marin 1 lap down. So it's possible they could get back on the lead lap. But unfortunately, Jeff Crosby Jr.'s day is pretty much over as far as being competitive is concerned. Even if he manages to come out and collect a few points for the championship, he's registering as 5 laps down now. So I personally, my advice to him would be get it fixed, come out, do the last few laps, get it across the line, and see if you can pick up some points, and then hope for a better week next week. That would be my outlook on it if I was in this race at the moment.
Well, you can tell that they're pushing and shoving a lot more as we got more trucks sideways. They had a big dust up not too long ago down the backstretch. Now they're trying to finish off what they started. We're still green. But I'm pretty sure I saw down the backstretch last lap about 10 trucks involved. And then once again through turn 2, not sure who that was, but they were sideways. Now Josh Ball in the wall. This time we are going to get a yellow.
Yeah, I think Cody was in that with Vicente and Richie Sanchez. They got a little bit of push and shove going because they could see the laps slipping away from them, and they're at the back of the field. So, but now we've actually got a caution. So, yeah, if it was me, I'd stay out. It's only been a couple of laps, and to be honest, there's still plenty of time to top up fuel later if you need to. I would stay out and move through the field when everybody else in front of you pits. But that's just me.
Watching this one, it looks like the 24 and the 1 make contact. And that is what triggers this one here. A lot of trucks nose first into the wall there.
Yeah, it looks like there was a little bit of a touch between Josh Ball and whoever that was behind him. And that's a triggered Armageddon again. And I think that was the 08 of Dude Conrad disappearing in the middle of it all, where he's obviously hit the escape key back to the pits because, yeah, that truck's very, very third hand.
So once again, we are back under yellow. Nate Warren leads the field on the pit road. It looks like
the entire. Sorry, I was going to say, it looks like the entire field's come in. Yeah.
Yep, same thing. Looks like the whole field is hitting pit road.
Yeah, I would have stayed out. I mean, even if they pit now, I don't think they're going to have the fuel to get to the finish line. And if we have a green-white checker, then pitting again for fuel is going to be an absolute necessity. So personally, I would have stayed out and waited for another caution or another opportunity to pit and move through the field, especially for the guys sitting towards the back, although it looks like Cody's actually copped a bit of damage out of that in the rear end, and he's got that fixed. So that's obviously a reason for pitting. If you got through that without any damage, staying out probably would have been a smart option, but it's hard to tell who needed fuel, who needed damage repair. That's something that only each of the drivers can decide at the time under the circumstances.
So Zach Fritsch takes over the race lead. Zach Workman second. These guys stay out. Anthony English scored in third. The 52 of Randall Cobb, not on the lead lap, stuck between the 19 and the 44. All right, Steve, so getting down to the final 19 laps when they go around this time. That being said, drivers probably starting to feel the pressure of how long this race has been.
Yeah, and to be honest, I think what's probably going to be on the mind of a lot of these guys is that the laps are running out. They're not, they may not be where they want to be or where they were in the race, and they're seeing the laps slipping away. So it's a case of, okay, well, how do I deal with this now? Like, am I going to be in a position to get up there, or how do I get up there? Yeah, this is why I said I would have stayed out, because it would have progressed you through the field and you would have had another opportunity for pitting later, because the fuel, they've got a full tank on there now, but with 18, 19 laps to go, they're going to be pushing it very close on fuel. And if we get a green-white checker, so quite a few of these guys are going to find that they're going to fall short.
Always fun when you gamble on fuel. Never know how it's going to end up.
Yeah, I've done that a few times myself.
Always interesting when fuel strategy comes into it.
I think it was a race last week. I actually held off until I literally had 1 lap of fuel left in the truck and I had no choice but to pit. Just holding on, waiting for a caution or a bunch of other guys to do a green flag pit stop and jump in with them and that sort of thing. But I ended up having to go in on my own because I'm down to 1 lap of fuel. You can't hold on much longer when you're down that far. So there's Anthony English, as always, is just there. He's always there. He's always pushing. He's always trying. He's a few spots back, but as we said, nearly the whole field's on the lead lap, going back to position 33. Everybody's on the lead lap. And we've got Randall Cobb, Andy Brigante, Dude Conrad are all 1 lap down. So there's still time for them to get back on the lead lap as we go green again.
12 of Zach Fritsch, the 19 of Zach Workman, side by side into turn 1. 18 laps to go, just on the edge of making it on fuel, especially when you consider green-white checkered attempts. So we'll see how it all plays out.
Dawson White still sitting at the front.
The 9?
Sitting in that second row,
Yep. Had his share of issues here tonight. Seems like almost everyone here has been involved in an incident at one point or another. We do have 33 trucks on the lead lap. Excuse me. That one came out of nowhere.
Dawson's back to third truck on the inside now because Zach Workman's dropped down in front of Zach Fritsch, which has put was that Brian Stanley up the front on that outside line.
So the 5?
The number 5, yeah.
Bright orange paint scheme.
That's the one. And he's got a couple of purple trucks behind him. The 71 sitting in there as well of Sean McCara, who we haven't really spoken about tonight, but he's put himself in a good position there at the right end of the race.
71 giving a good healthy push to the 5. John McCara would love to end up in victory lane here tonight. We'll see if that can happen. Of course, all these drivers obviously would like to end up in victory lane, but McCarron been working at it for a while.
He's pretty much spent the whole race biding his time, working towards being where he is now, and with around 15 laps to go, he's certainly put himself in a good spot. He's in a really good spot there at the moment, in behind Brian Stanley on that outside line. Well, Zach Fritsch gets a little bit loose there across the line on the apron. Nothing comes of it though.
Yeah, we stay green. Everyone shuffles back into place. Do want to point out that Jeff Crosby Jr. has gone behind the wall. His night is done for officially. Duke Conrad sitting on pit road. They're working on that truck, but not looking good for him on making a return. So that leaves 34th spot to Randall Cobb and 35th to Andy Brigante as the 2 trucks that are running that are not on the lead lap. Last truck on the lead lap, that is the one of Josh Ball, and he is running all by himself.
And in stark contrast to what happened to Jeff Jr., Jeff Sr. is sitting inside the top 10 on that outside line. He's the 5th truck back. sitting alongside Cody Nagels and Kevin Fries. So he's got himself in a good spot there for a really good finish. Let's hope he can carry that off, because I know Jeff would love to finish even further up than this and even get a podium at least, or a top 5. That'd be good points to grab for the first round of the championship. In the 15 truck.
Yeah, he's riding around in that second lane, tucked in. Real nice, like. Not pushing the issue here.
Yeah, just doing what he needs to do without trying to be flashy or anything special, which is usually the way Jeff Crosby Sr. drives.
Yep, just nice quiet runs and takes whatever he can get, doesn't try and force the issue, and
yep, takes opportunities when they arise, and now he's finding himself inside the top 10, so good spot for Jeff Sr.
On board, the 19 is Zach Workman, looking out the back at the rest of this field. Quite the...
Zach Workman continues to lead from Brian Stanley, and he's got Zach Workman has Zach Fritsch right behind him in the 12 truck, and then Dawson Wise still sitting there with his nose poked into the top 5.
We go on board with the 3 of Alex Green, all the way in 15th spot, tucked in behind Anthony English in the 44, Randall Cobb in the 52, just ahead and to the left. So Alex Green, one of these guys that you start paying attention to at the end of the race, because he's not afraid to try and make that third lane work. Not only that, but he's not afraid to use any opening he can find.
One of the guys that we were talking about earlier, who was a lap or two down, has managed to get himself back to the lead lap. Now sitting in 12th place, that's Adam Kilday.
Yeah, the 85 with a great rebound. Multiple laps down. I believe he was at one point 2 laps down and has found a way to get back into this race, trying to knock on the door of a top 10 run here. All in all, not a bad situation to be in.
Yeah, no, he's certainly driven a good race to put himself back to where he is now. He's inside the top 12 and back on the lead lap, so he's given himself every opportunity that he can. He's done well.
Side by side off of turn number 4, Zach Workman, Brian Stanley. Stanley in the 5 could pick up his first Monday night win.
Well, we've got 9 laps of regular time remaining, I believe, so if these guys can keep it clean like this, it's going to be interesting to see what happens with these front few. If there's a caution, that will throw everything like just out the window, and we're just going to have to wait and see. But yeah, Dawson Wise still hanging in there, 3rd truck along in that inside line, sitting in 5th, 6th, alongside the 71 of Sean McCara. Zach Fritsch in front of Dawson, who's sitting there behind Zach Workman, who currently leads from Brian Stanley on the outside line. Oh, they're very, very close there. There's some side drafting going on, but that almost looked like Brian Stanley and Zach Fritsch touched doors.
Josh Ball on the 1, dropping down to the inside. The field makes the way around. Good heads-up move by Josh Ball, as unfortunately for him, he battled back to get back on the lead lap, went all the way from that situation to the race lead, and now has found himself back 1 lap down again. Rough night for him.
He'll register as a lap down this time around, unfortunately for Josh. It was a good fight back, but I've got a feeling that truck might be down on power from the damage in an earlier incident, and he's just struggling to really be competitive for the remainder of this race. Real shame for Josh. Would love to have seen him finish at least on the lead lap. after battling back from a couple of laps down. So that's unfortunate for him.
On board with the 61 of Jeremy Stanley, running up on the high side, right behind Robert Morrison.
Yeah, I was going to draw some attention to Robert Morrison sitting there, third truck on the outside line, sitting inside the top 6 or so. He really has been a quiet achiever tonight, and he's just like Jeff Crosby Sr. doing what he has to do. He's got himself in a good position, and there we see Zach Fritsch and Zach Workman both pulling off to the pits. As predicted, they're not going to have the fuel to get to the end.
No, they have hit pit road.
And Brian Stanley takes over the outright lead of this one on the lower line in front of Dawson Wise, who continues to just push for a good finishing spot in this race, at the moment sitting second.
It is going to be a bit of a stretch for everyone to make it on fuel, especially if you are running wide open. If you're trying to be conservative with your fuel and running towards the back of the field and using the draft, you might be able to stretch it these 20 laps. However, it's still a tall order, and it's all going to be for naught as the yellow flag is going to come out. We have a big dust up once again in the trial.
There's another big one as Brian Stanley and Dawson Wise came together, and there was a little bit of a touch on Brian Stanley's outside from Dawson, and yeah, the two of those will suffer for that. That's certainly going to change everything for them and everybody else. Now with Zach Workman and Zach Fritsch pitting before that, that's going to put them in an absolute prime position. So I think we're going to see a double Zach attack at the end of this.
Yeah, they for sure were the right place, right time.
I know it sounds corny when I say it like that, as a double Zach attack, but yeah, that's what it's going to be.
Les Levy in the 62, gingerly making his way through that one. A whole lot of trucks were able to escape. So with 6 laps to go.
Yeah, just Richie Sanchez was right in the middle of that too and popped a couple of heavy hits.
All right, so Vicente Guerrero staying out. Cody Nagels, Kevin Freese, Dawson Wise, they all stay out.
So far, I wouldn't be surprised to see them come in second time around and top up the fuel, because it's been a little while since they pitted, so I don't know whether they'll be carrying enough fuel on board to see out the last 5 or 6 of this race. And if as I said earlier, if we get a green-white checker, that's going to make it very interesting for these guys. As Josh Ball goes around the outside, I think he's the lucky dog, so he'll get that lap back. He'll get back onto the lead lap again, which is good for him. But he's going to be at the back of the pack with only about 4 or 5 laps to go. In fact, once we go green, he's probably only going to have about 2 or 3 laps.
Yeah, we are going to go green, and we will have 3 laps to go with that green flag. We'll be close on fuel for quite a few of these guys. We thought we would see Zach Fritsch and Zach Workman at the front of this field, but it would appear that 16 drivers did not come down pit road.
Yeah, which bothers me a bit, but I think they're coming down now. Vicente in the 14, Dawson in the 9, and possibly Cody Nagels in the 6.
I think they're just trying to save as much fuel as they can, shortening the track up, staying on the flat part. I don't think we'll see them on pit road.
No, they're going to hold out. They're going to stay out there. And well, I think what they're gambling on is there won't be a green-white checker. So they might have enough to get across the line in normal time, regular time. If they can go clean to the end, then there's every chance that those guys at the front 4 to 6 have a shot. But they're going to be running on fumes when they cross the line. I think some of them. On the smell of an oily rag, as they say.
Yeah, it's going to be for sure fumes by the time this one's all said and done.
He's managed to find his way back again to put himself in a situation. Seb Marin in the 23 truck. He's sitting there, fourth truck back on the inside. After everything that's happened to him, on the lead lap. Currently sitting 7th. As we come into the last 3 laps of this race, Seb Marin is sitting there and he'd be chomping at the bit to get further up the field. And it's interesting to see Vicente at the front there because he's certainly had his troubles tonight too.
Yeah, the 14 and the 6 side by side for this restart. It's anyone's race, man. All you gotta be is on the lead lap when the white flag comes out, and you got a shot at winning.
Well, Richie Sanchez sitting 3rd truck back in the 510, sitting in what, 6th place or 5th place. Yeah, the truck doesn't look great, but it doesn't look as bad as I thought it would. So Richie's stayed out there as the truck pulls off, the pace truck, and we're going to go green, and you're going to have Vicente Guerrero side by side with Cody Nagels, and behind them Dawson Wise on the inside, Kevin Freeze on the outside.
On board with Sanchez as we go off into turn number 1. Inside line really gets that good momentum on the inside as Vicente Guerrero jumps up in front of the 6 of Cody Nagels. Down the back stretch, they really get a good full head of steam in that outer lane.
And Vicente's dropped back to the inside line again now. So he's working basically side by side with Cody Nagels and Kevin Freeze, who are his teammates. And that team's going to be hoping for a 1-2-3, obviously, out of this. But Dawson Wise has got other ideas. And Seb Marin has now moved to the outside. And he's sitting right behind Kevin Freeze in 5th place, battling Richie Sanchez side by side. As Vicente goes off onto the...
That's because the yellow flag is out.
Ah, the yellow flag is out again. Okay.
Yeah, we have a spin coming off of turn 1, 2, 6, turn 4.
So who will we see pit and who will stay out? There's the question. Because this is probably good. Yeah, this will take us to a green-white checker.
Hard impact for the 3 of Alex Green. Looked like Zach Workman in the 19 gets sideways, collects the 3.
That certainly hasn't worked out the way I thought it would, with Zach Workman and Zach Fritsch pitting right prior to that last caution, because I thought that would have put them in a really good spot at the front, because they just pitted, they'd full tank of fuel, and you know, would have put them in a good spot from that caution. But it hasn't really worked out that way. They haven't found their way to the pointy end of the field, KR. It's strange.
Yeah. A lot of trucks between them and the front that did not hit pit road, that are trying to stretch their fuel. Cody Nagels last on pit road on lap 80. We are now on lap 99.
They've only got about a 19-lap fuel load, so he must be... He must have everything crossed fingers, toes, elbows, everything. But it looks like he's going to pit. I think it's too late to pit, to be perfectly honest. I think you pit now and you're really going to throw it away. The green-white check is not going to do you any favours. As I think that was Andy Briganti getting the lucky dog.
It would appear so, as the 13 is now back on the lead lap. So the 6, the 14, the 9, the 25, all trying to stretch their fuel.
And can they get 3 laps out of it? That's the question. 2 laps, 3 laps. Yeah, I've got my doubts, but
yeah, it's this green-white checkered isn't really going to help them out too much. However, they are going to try and still, you know, you've made your choice. Now you have to live with it.
Well, that's pretty much it. Yeah. If you pit now, you've thrown it away, and if you stay out and you're going to fall a lap short on fuel, you've thrown it away. So you've got to have faith in what they believe. They're in the truck. They're the ones that are driving. There'll be a lot of conversation going on in Discord amongst the teammates about what they can and can't get away with. Anybody who's actually got at least a half a dozen laps of fuel left in the truck can go hard and do something with it. But anybody who's going to be getting there by the skin of their teeth must be a bit nervous.
Yeah, you gotta be sweating it.
As we see Cody selecting the outside again, that seems to be his favourite spot for the restarts. And he's got his teammate Vicente Guerrero in the 14 truck on the inside. Behind Vicente is the 25 of Kevin Fries, also one of those team members. And the fly in the ointment at the moment for him is Dawson Wise in the number 9. Richie Sanchez sitting back there in the 3rd row alongside Sebastian Marin. And the 11 truck of Matt Wagner. Great to see Matt that far up. Robert Morrison's up there. Jimmy Reynolds, Kenneth Bishop, and Dan Harrington still hanging on there. Stephen Miles, Gabe Butler, and Jeff Crosby Sr. And Nate Warren sitting in 15th spot.
Quite the cast of characters at the front part of this field. As we begin our extended laps. This one,
I think this is the first of our green-white checkers, I think, isn't it?
Yeah, this is officially our first green-white checkered.
The truck will pull off here. Will they go hard or will they build up to it? This is going to be the question, because it's going to come down to fuel.
All right, here we go.
I don't think Dawson's going to want to build up to it. Dawson's going to want to go.
Yeah, green flag is out, and you've got to be on the throttle, because if you are not, that row behind you is for sure on the throttle, and they're going to be charging hard as we got one hard into the wall. That is Jeff Crosby Sr., who made heavy contact with the outside wall and has pulled down to the inside. And so Jeff Crosby Sr. looks like, unfortunately for him, his race is done.
Yeah, unfortunately, and there's no caution on that, so because he got off the track and off the racing surface. So we continue under green with Vicente leading this from Cody, with Kevin Fries right behind Vicente. Dawson Wise still pushing at the back of Cody. He's going to be wanting to get up the front. and Seb Marin sitting there third truck back on the inside. Richie Sanchez is still there, but he's got a bit of a truck length gap between himself and Dawson. Now Dawson's moved to the outside in front of Gabe Butler in the 88. And then Steve Korosek behind Gabe Butler on the outside. They've gone 3 wide.
Vicente Guerrero in the 14, surging ahead. Little bit of contact, we stay with it, and the 25 has the advantage on the inside, but not the advantage of speed. Here they come to the line, and Gabe Butler in the 88 is going to pick up the win. How about that? Gabe able to squeeze by that third lane.
With a big charge there at the end from Gabe, and he took the lollies. So that's a great finish for Gabe.
Outstanding finish here. Everyone running mostly in line still. We did see, I believe, not sure who that was, one of our new guys, I believe it was Kenneth Bishop, smacking the wall coming to the checkered.
Yeah, we had a couple of trucks into the wall there, one as they were crossing the line and one just before it, but being on the last lap, white flag lap, there are no cautions. It's hammer down and go.
Let's run through our race results here as we let the drivers catch their breath before we start talking to them. Gabe Butler, Vicente Guerrero, our race, or top 3 finishers. Then it's Cody Nagels, Stephen Miles in the top 5, Dawson Wise 6th, Kevin Freeze goes 7th, 8th place is Peter deBorja, Richard Sanchez 9th, 10th Sebastian Marin, Matt Wagner ends up 11th, 12th is Jimmy Reynolds, Nate Warren 13th, 14th Anthony English. Our 15th finisher is Zach Fritsch in the 12, Dan Harrington 16th, 17th Bishop, Richard Kuhn in 18th, 19th is Jeremy Stanley, Sean McCarr 20th, 21st Dustin Logston, Eric Laurie 22nd, Adam Kilday 23rd, Dave Hunt in 24th spot, 25th goes to Sean Stevens, Andy Brigante 26th, Robert Morrison 27th, 28th is Les Levy, Zach Workman 29th, 30th goes to Josh Ball, Ryan Stanley 31st, 32nd Jeff Crosby Sr., Alex Green 33rd, 1 lap down, that is 34th place Randall Cobb, Tyler Miller in 35th, 36th Dude Conrad, Jeff Crosby Jr., Bubba Winningham, and John Guerrera round out our finishing order. But now let's get right into it and talk to our race winner. That is the 88 of Gabe Butler. And Steve, you're doing such a good job interviewing everyone. I'll let you talk to him.
Okay, so who have we got there? Who are we talking to first?
That would be our race winner, Gabe Butler.
Oh, Gabe, what a finish.
How about
Fantastic.
that, Steve? Did you enjoy
Fantastic, mate. Well done. Yeah, I did. Yeah, look, right in that last couple of laps, you really just said, this is the time to do it, and you just put down the hammer. So, yeah, congratulations on that. Just tell us about that last couple of laps from your point of view.
Well, I mean, you had it right there. Basically, it was time to go. You didn't have a choice. I started on the bottom, and I knew I had to get up to at least the second lane. I stayed there for a little while and decided, well, here we go. Nothing to lose. Go up in the third lane. Got a massive push. I saw somebody coming. I think it was Steve Korosek. So once I saw him coming, I popped up there. He gave me a massive push. Then I think Stephen Miles was behind him, and my teammate Peter deBorja was behind him. So I figured if we could just keep it in line, stay off the wall, hopefully get a massive run, which I think we did, and were able to pull it out. Good finish.
Yeah, at one point there, I think Cody tried to move up on you and block, but you sort of a little bit of a tap on his rear bar there, and I think that might have disturbed him a little bit, and that gave you the opportunity to get through on him on the outside, and that really got you the win there. But taking a couple of your teammates with you, Steve Korosik did a great job in behind you there of giving you a push. So that really turned into a team effort there at the end.
Yeah, well, Steve wasn't on our team, but type of guy he is, whoever's in front of him, he'll push him. And yeah, Cody threw a really good block there. I mean, I wasn't trying to wreck him. I was just trying to rattle his cage, as they say. So he did a good job holding on to it. So fair play to him for not losing it there.
So first round win of the new season, of season 12 of the Premier Series for OP Racing. So, yeah, look, that's fantastic. Is there anybody else you want to throw a thank you to, or sponsors or anybody like that?
Let's see, Guinness is the big sponsor of the 88 truck. Give it a shout out to OP for putting this on. Congratulations on their 12th season. Of course, you guys in the booth, Steve, I've surprised you in the booth. Thought I would have seen you out on track tonight. And KR, you guys do a fabulous job. Definitely looking forward to looking back on this one. And finally, my teammates, welcome to Jimmy Reynolds to the Team Boot Naka. We've got Eric Laurie in here, Peter deBorja, and welcome back to King Boot Naka, Dude Conrad. So hopefully we can get those guys up here every week and get a podium finish at least.
Yeah, no, excellent stuff. And I'm in the booth and not racing because my arthritis is pretty bad today. So I took my pedals out of my rig a couple of days ago to do some maintenance, and the arthritis is pretty bad, and I was unable to put them back in. Plus, I don't think I would have been able to steer it properly today anyway. So discretion, the better part of valor, and I opted to watch and then decided to jump in the booth with KR. But I had a blast watching that race and watching that great finish. So congrats again to Gabe Butler, the first winner of season 12 of the new championship series in OP Racing at Daytona, and we look forward to next week. See if you can go back to back.
Thanks, Steve. Have a good one.
No worries. Thanks, Gabe. Catch you later.
Yep.
That was Gabe Butler from Team Boot Naka Esports. Now we move on to our second place finisher. That is the driver of the 14. And I'll take this one. You're doing such a good job. I'm sure you need a break. Talking on, you know, to all these race winners, but I'll talk to the Italian stallion himself, Vicente Guerrero. Vicente, how you doing?
Yonda.
What's going on, buddy?
Oh, you know, finishing second.
Yeah? How'd you do that?
You know, the usual. It comes to me naturally.
Well, man, outstanding job running in second here tonight. That 14, a mainstay at the front of the field all night long. You did have a few ups and downs, but come home in second place with this one. Walk us through that last lap.
The last lap was pretty interesting. We had enough fuel for that last restart. And we were just playing through our heads, you know, the scenarios, what could happen, and we were gonna just sit where we were at. But last minute call, I got called up, so I did what my teammates told me to do. So we live and learn, and I'm satisfied where I finished, and that was it. Gabe took the win. He stole one from me. He stole one not too, a while, like a couple of years ago, a really bad one. And I will never forget that, when he beat me 0.000, and iRacing decided that he took it from me. I'm still trying to, I'm still trying to figure that one out. I need to get one back from him. But congrats to him, and I want to thank my teammates. I mean, it was fun. The chemistry in our team, Del Cup, it feels pretty good.
Well, man, an outstanding run for you. A solid second place finish. Shout outs, thank yous, anything else you need to add?
I want to thank you and Steve for broadcasting. I can't wait to go back and watch it. I actually performed pretty well tonight. I want to thank OP and all their admins for what they do. And congrats to Jimmy on the Hall of Famer. And I want to thank my teammates, Steve, Kevin, Seabass, and Cody. Really appreciate them helping me throughout the night here today.
All right, there you have it. Vicente Guerrero in the 14, our second place finisher. Nice job, Vicente.
Thank you.
All right, one more driver to talk to. Steve, you ready for the Steve and Steve show?
Oh, absolutely. Let's roll.
All right, here you go. Take it away, Steve.
Hey, Steve, it's Steve. How are you?
What's up, Steve?
Mate, great finish, third place. You just sort of were there all night and putting yourself where you needed to be. Go over that last couple of laps for us in behind Gabe, will you?
Yeah, I had been struggling since about, I think it was lap 45. I got damaged and I went a lap down and I got it back and then I wrecked again and then I stayed on the lead lap, but I had 5 minutes of damage and I got really lucky with the cautions and was able to fix it on the very last caution. And I just got a really good restart and a good run. And then I had a choice to either go to the outside of Gabe or push him. And I just chose to push him and we took off in the third and the rest is history. I'm just amazed that I was even able to salvage a finish like that because I struggled the whole race.
It's a matter of perseverance, isn't it? I mean, it's a championship round, so you get whatever points you can grab, and then you hope for a better round next week. But bringing it home third like that is something. Yeah, that's a pretty good finish to the night.
Yeah, I'll take it, man.
Oh yeah, I mean you always take them where you can get them, especially a podium. So yeah, but you did have a rough night tonight. You had a couple of big ones there. There was one earlier on in the race where you were doing helicopters across the infield and managed to nose it straight into the wall. Did a lot of damage to the truck, and you sort of seemed to have to really work twice as hard from that point onwards, didn't you?
Oh yeah, like I said, it was just a struggle. I'm so glad I was able to salvage something. Honestly, I didn't even expect to get a top 20.
Yeah, well, that's it. I mean, top 20 is one thing, top 5 is another, but to bring it home third and get on the podium, that's pretty good. It's where you finish. That's the saying, isn't it? It's where you finish, not where you start. So that really came good for you tonight. You got any shout outs or thank yous you want to send out?
Yeah, I just gotta give a shout out to Team Dale Cup and a shout out to OP and the guys who put it on to make it happen. You guys for broadcasting. I'll watch it back here in a little bit. I always do. And shout out to Gabe Butler on the win. Good win there. So hopefully we can keep momentum going and us as a whole as a team. And just stay strong, man. Because I think all of us placed in the top 10 tonight. So that's an excellent start.
Yeah, no, that's good. And if you can keep that team momentum going next week into the next round, off the top of my head, I'm not sure where we're going. Could be Dager. I'm not sure. I'd have to have a look. But I'm very jealous that I wasn't in that tonight. That was a really good race. There were some big incidents, but there was some really good racing, especially in that front half of the field. Just the tightness of it. And towards the end there was some really good side drafting with people just touching doors without doing any damage or pushing people off the track. Very jealous that I wasn't in that tonight, but I'll be back next week, hopefully, as long as my hands come good. So, very, very jealous I wasn't in that. So congrats for a third place. You put in the effort you had to, and you just drove the wheels off the thing to get to where you were. So congrats on the third place, and look forward to seeing what you can do with it next week.
Hey, thanks, man. I appreciate it. Hopefully I see you out on the racetrack next week.
Yep, no worries. Thanks, Steve. Steve Korosek, third place, round 1 of season 12 for the Premier Series at OP Racing.
All right, Steve. Well, that'll wrap it up for us here tonight. Mr. Hoppet, I do appreciate you joining me. Gave me someone to talk to, and I really enjoyed that. So thank you very much.
It's always better when there's 2 or 3 people in the booth, mate. It's a lot easier. I've done a fair bit of this sort of stuff, and it's a lot easier when there's somebody to bounce off and feed off, rather than trying to carry the whole show on your own, which you do week in, week out very, very well. And it was great to be a part of it tonight. And I just figured on the spur of the moment that if I'm going to watch, I might as well help out.
Well, man, I do appreciate it. Thank you very much. And Yeah, you're welcome up here anytime, but don't take this the wrong way, but I prefer seeing you on the track.
You know, I prefer seeing me on the track too, but this was fun. It was great working with you tonight, KR. And yeah, just another example of what the admins do. And with Monday night, save for a couple of sloppy moments, it was a pretty good race.
And that it was. So with that being said, ladies and gentlemen, we'll leave you with that. We hope to see you next Monday, but if we can't, hopefully we'll see you Wednesday. You going to be running Wednesday night, Steve?
I plan to.
Well, I'm sorry, you're in the future, so I guess for you it'd be Thursday afternoon, but you be joining us in?
Thursday lunchtime for me, yeah.
All right, man. Well, hope to see you out on the track. Once again, thank you very much. And ladies and gentlemen, thank you for watching us and joining us here on the Turn 3 Racing Network. So until next time, have a good night, stay safe, and we'll see you then.
With the Butt Kicker Gamer 2, what you see and what you hear is what you feel. Butt Kicker. The future is feeling.